easier if you actually understood the person you're working with? Enjoy the book.
Forward. Sandy Lerner, the co-founder of Cisco and founder of Urban Decay, wrote the foreword to this book, and I'm going to read it to you. It's cold comfort to have survived a mental and financial mauling by the greediest of the greedy. In fact, I was taken in, taken by, and fired by the same genius who fired Steve Jobs, an award that, even today, helps soothe the sting. In my case, the old divide and conquer ploy did not work. In the 1980s, it would have been pro forma to label any businesswoman not a team player, too emotional, or not suited to a business environment. However, they did not ever imagine that Len Bosak, my co-founder, would walk out with me for the simple reason that he felt my being fired was simply wrong. It's a tactical ploy that founders can use to their advantage. There is no concept of ethical behavior in the venture playbook. And this was months into a strategy to play to Len's masculine ego to keep him on side when the axe fell. His loyalty to me was the only reason that I could keep my stock 3 years into working for the company, and with no salary, and saddled at the time of funding with a 4-year vesting agreement that subtly failed to include an employment contract. Maybe it's nice to know that it could not have been worse, but it's much nicer, not to mention healthier, to not have to go through this painful process. My subsequent ventures were sans mauling, courtesy of my not needing someone else's money. However, if you do need to go to the poison trough, I have 2 suggestions. Get your own lawyer and then read this book. I'm glad someone has finally written a guide to venture money for the uninitiated, clinically optimistic, and terminally naive. Founder versus investor is also a lot cheaper than the cost of decades of analysis to help you realize that it really wasn't your fault. Venture money is portrayed as a partnership during the courtship, but founders need to realize that the relationship is wholly adversarial. Venture vultures not only regard the original team as expendable, but, even before the check has cleared, are working to divide, conquer, and claw back the stock. The authors pick apart the lies and illusions, explain the game, and, for the first time, give entrepreneurs a fighting chance to go along with the check. Founder versus Investor is a practical, tactical, defensive handbook for those venturing into the shark pool for the first time, and for those who have already been scarred and are wondering what the hell happened. The authors are uniquely qualified to write this exposé. First, they include a woman in a part of the world that is notoriously one-sidedly male, usually behaving badly, and especially badly toward non-males, and the stories that I could tell you. Second, they have worked both sides of the aisle, as VCs and founders, and survived. However, what is really remarkable is that they are willing to talk about the process, honestly, and, what is better, completely. No pulled punches, no half-truths, no politically correct weasel words. It's a good thing they are successful on both fronts, as I doubt that the old Vultures Club is going to be rolling out the welcome mat again. Ever. Sandy Lerner. Founder's Note. I wrote V1 of this book during a time of great turmoil. The words poured out of me, mostly within a 3-week span. I found the act cathartic. You may find some rhetoric to be charged, provocative, perhaps angry at times. These feelings were certainly present while writing, although I do hope the editing makes the vitriol as digestible as possible. You may also come away thinking that I dislike everyone and the industry as a whole, and that would be wrong. My co-author is one of my closest friends, and he funds companies for a living. It is also true that investors in this industry have hurt me and other founders in staggering ways. VCs are in the business of making money or letting their egos get the better of them, and that frequently comes at the cost of founders. I'm surprised I haven't heard of a founder committing suicide. This book was written in the hopes of leveling the playing field. Information is power, and, at a minimum, this story will be